Hi everyone, Lady Rose here with you on this very, very hot day. As you can see, I'm coming to you from my home office where I create all my elixirs and brews and potions and whatnot. I'm here for the pick a pile. So on Wednesdays, it's not Wednesday yet, it's Monday today, I'm doing the video for the Monday night pick a pile, but on Wednesdays I do my online readings for my out of country, out of province, out of town kind of clients, and also those that still want to be at home because of COVID, because they are more vulnerable or whatnot, or for whatever reason. Even if you have a broken leg and you can't get out, you can always book me online for a reading, and I do those readings right now on Wednesdays because I do come home to my home office to do it because my internet's just a little bit better and stronger in my home office. But for the pick a pile, so tonight's Monday, this will be going up around 7 o'clock for the pick a pile. So thank you to everyone who participated in that and picked the pile of their choice. So I have knocked one of my cards down. Bear with me while I grab it here. Okay, here we go. Oh, that floor is a long way down. So you either picked the letter pile or the key. Some of you picked the key, some of you picked the heart, and some of you picked the tree. So we're going to go through all of these, and then you got another card from that same pile. So that pile that you picked from was the Fairy Tale Lenormand deck. So I'm using Lenormand now. I've started incorporating that into some of my readings. So Lenormand came out of France, is where this card system came from. It's totally different from tarot. It came in around the 1800s, I believe, if I'm correct. And what I've always admired many of the decks of Lenormand, but I never understood how to read it. So I recently just took and finished a course on Lenormand. Now it's a little bit, well, I wouldn't say it's simpler, it's just different from tarot. It's not as spiritually based as tarot, not as esoteric. What I do like about the Lenormand deck, and I'll put the link for this particular one, if you like fairy tales, each one of them have sort of a fairy tale connected to it. But what I like about this deck or Lenormand system is it's more of an everyday, like dealing with everyday matters, very practical in the way it looks at things. It's not looking at esoteric, it's not looking at spiritual as much. And it's more of just a straight up memorization system. You just have to know what each card means, because originally it was done with the playing card. So like on this one you can see there's a 7 of spades. So you can do Lenormand's system with any card deck that you have around. You just have to know what the 7 of spades means, and it means letter. So that usually means a message is coming in. So like I said, it deals with that sort of thing. It's a straight up memorization kind of system. There's no intuition that really goes along with it, or at least not nearly as much. I can't help but put a little of my psychic kind of abilities to it. However, it is very much in the practical, everyday kind of world. It's not about your life journey. It's not about, you know, the walking the spiral or anything like that. Then the other deck that we have that I'm using is Goddess Guidance. I like these cards because, well, I'm into the goddess stuff, and thus my name, Goddess Garage, right? And I like the cards because they just kind of remind you, you know, make sure your crown is on and you're, you know, walking around like the queen that you are, and you're owning your space and your intentions, and, you know, making sure that people know that you're there without power tripping, of course, because that's not what queens are about. They're about commanding their space. So this is a good one to remind us of what maybe we need, a reminder of what we need to command in our lives, because we all kind of need those little reminders. And then the next deck that I have that I'm using for tonight is the Soul's Journey Really like this one. It's got a lot of good practical advice, but it can go spiritual as well. I love the back of the cards. They're just so pretty. And I really like the messages that come with each of the cards. So the soul's journey, it's about what's going on with your soul right now in this moment. And then of course we have the fairies. I am a certified fairyologist, and I'm a fairy lore historian, fairy tale historian. I love the magical realms. I go to them all the time. And this is the Oracle of the Fairies deck by Karen Kay. Very pretty deck. I like this fairy deck. It's reminiscent of one of my mermaid decks, where it's straight up advice, sort of good solid advice, nice clear messages, not too sugar coated, because sometimes when people get into the fairy realm, they can kind of get a little sugary and syrupy, and it's like kind of leaves a bad taste in my mouth. So I like it when fairies can just call it like they see it, kind of thing. So, and I really like the back of these cards too, because there's sort of, it's a pink lotus, right, blooming, and there's a key, and they're mirroring each other. So there's a whole lot just to be said about the back of this card. You know, bloom like the lotus that you are, even within the muddy waters, and from that you get the secret keys of life. And you know, a lot of times there's a lot of reflecting and readings, magic mirrors throughout our life. I'm presently writing a book, and I'm going to be releasing the title soon. I just finished my book actually, so I'm really excited about it. It's being edited as we speak, so I can't really speak a whole lot about it, but there are some magic mirrors involved in it. So let us get on to the reading. So the reading, for those of you that picked the letter, it's when you pick the letter, it's kind of saying to me that you're waiting for a message. You want to hear from someone, you want to hear about something. There's some sort of resolution that you need to sort of get in your life, and you're waiting for it. So let's see what your first Lenormand card said. I say cross because you got the cross. So you've got, here we go. You got the cross to go with your letter. So like I said, the Lenormand is a straight up memorization, and I don't have them all memorized, so I am going to cheat a little bit and use the book. These Lenormand cards, by the way, are so cute. They're small, so compare it to an oracle card. See, they're nice and small, and they come in that, it's a tin box that it comes in. I love it. I really love it. So you got the cross to go with your letter. So I know the letter is all about messages, and I believe the cross is about sort of pain, burdens, things like that. Yes, that's exactly what it says. Pain and burdens. Now that I've turned to the page, pain, burdens, and the suffering. So this is about, perhaps it's a message that's coming in that's not going to be good news. You were hoping for some good news. It's not going to be what you're hoping for. So it's going to bring some sadness to you, but now you know it's coming, right? So it's sort of like preparing you for a storm. You know that a storm is coming, and you know that it's not going to work out or be the answer that you're looking for. But somewhere deep in your subconscious, you kind of knew that anyways. So bring that up to your conscious level and deal with it at that level, say, thinking, okay, it's not like, for instance, if it's a job you were after and you're really hoping that they're going to call you back and say, yep, we want you, you're the person. And they come back and say, sorry, no, we're not going to go with you. Super disappointed, of course. But start to deal with that now. Whatever you anticipate is the bad news that's going to come in, you are probably right this time. I do hate to sort of negatively reinforce negative thoughts, if that makes any sense. But it's not going to work out the way you had hoped. But that means too that there is another opportunity opening up. This wasn't meant to be. We all make plans. Even I was talking with a friend today, and I was talking about how I was talking about my book, and I was talking about how I had planned it all out. I had flow charts and everything. And the way I ended my book, the way I finished off the third part of my book, did not finish off the way I had planned it. And I was writing something else, and I realized I'm writing the third part of my book by the time I was near the end of it. So that didn't work out the way I thought, but it actually worked out a lot better. So, you know, take that in stride. Know that you might be disappointed soon, but that's part of the journey, and it's actually opening you up to something else. So your goddess, oh, I love this. So you've got Mother Mary, and the message is expect a miracle. So although you're going to get news that you're not going to like, it's because there's a miracle right on the horizon. And if you'd gotten the news you wanted, the miracle wouldn't come in. So expect a miracle. And it says, have faith in your prayers. Have faith that your prayers have been heard, and are being answered. So put out there what you want. And don't be afraid to pray to Mother Mary and say, I want this. That is a power phrase. I have another video on this channel where I talk about the power phrase of I want. And it is a very powerful phrase, and it's one that we need to incorporate into our lives more often as far as putting out intentions. And if you want something, simply ask for it. And you can start with saying, I want this, and put that out there. Now, your soul journey, luckily I have lots of ice in my glass and a drink here to wet my whistle a little bit. I've been talking a lot today, and now it's super hot, and my window faces west, so I'm getting the setting sun right now, and it's very warm. But so your soul journey card is acceptance. So accept what's coming in. Accept what's coming in, but don't be afraid to put your intention out there. Let Mother Mary know that you want whatever it is, whether it's a dream job, whether it's a dream home. You know, I want this big, beautiful house. I want this beautiful job or this wonderful job. I want, you know, a new person to come into my life that I can care for, that cares for me, whatever it might be. Put that out there, but also it's that paradox of acceptance and also putting out there what you want. Because sometimes when we let go and we just accept, that's part of the surrender. When we let go and surrender, it's amazing what comes in for us. So your message with the acceptance is, I'm learning to accept the things I cannot change. And that's part of wisdom. Knowing there's some things you cannot change. The only thing you really have control of is yourself and the way you react. You can't change anybody else as much as you might want to. You know, you might have a son or a daughter who's got some issues going on and you want to help change them. You can be there for support, definitely, but you cannot make them change. You cannot make your partner change. You cannot make a family member change. You can only set the example, and you can only control yourself. That's all you can do. So learn that wisdom. And, you know, don't be afraid to say a prayer for them to help them out, absolutely. But know that if change is going to happen, we each have to do it for ourselves. Now, your fairy message is lost and found. And there's a beautiful little fairy with a lovely, beautiful kitty there. Maybe there's a kitty cat that's been lost and found. So what was once lost is about to be found. Maybe that's part of your miracle that's coming in. Thanks to the lost and found fairy, sometimes she can help us find things we never even realized were lost. So something that you've lost is coming in, and the lost and found fairy is here to help you with that. You can also, you know, call on St. Anthony. He's the patron saint of lost things. You don't have to specifically say what you've lost. I have asked him on occasion to find my glasses, and he always finds them for me. But you can also ask for other things that, like the card said, things you haven't even realized that you've lost. So you can put that out there as something that you need to find. So something you've lost is coming back in. You've got miracles coming in. Yes, you have a little bad news, but you can deal with that. You can get through that. So you've got some good news coming in. Not good news, sorry. You have bad news coming in, but you have a miracle coming in. You're going to learn that lesson of acceptance and just knowing that the universe is going to take care of you, and you're going to find something you lost. Awesome. You know, you got to love that. Okay, so then we move on to those of you that picked the key. So many of you probably picked the key because subconsciously you're wanting to unlock some opportunities, some doorways, some knowledge, some secrets, that sort of thing. Keys are wonderful, mysterious things. I love keys. Now your other Lenormand card that you got was a house. Oh, maybe you got a new house coming in. So maybe you've bought a house, maybe you're looking for a house. Because again, Lenormand deals with very everyday things, and house and key definitely go together. So when you've got the house coming in, it means you have a happy home coming. You might have literally a house coming in for you. House is also about safety and sanctuary, that sort of thing, your haven. So, you know, creating that haven in life. So that's maybe the key, is the key to unlocking that happy home. So that happy home is on the horizon for you if you've been looking for it, both literally and perhaps metaphorically. Now your crown, your goddess card, is Sedna, infinity supply. Ooh, you gotta like that, infinite supply. I said infinity, but I meant infinite supply. So she's a goddess of abundance and bounty, and it says you are supplied for today and all of your tomorrows. So perhaps you've been feeling a little lot of energy of lacking, a lot of you know, I don't have enough, do I have enough, questioning that, both in your practical everyday life and also am I enough kind of thing. So maybe you've been questioning that, you've been feeling a little unstable, you're not sure where things are going, you're not sure what to expect for the future, maybe you've been worrying a lot and fretting. So this is sort of saying she's here to provide that security, that safety. That's probably why home showed up as well, because you're worried both on the spiritual, mental level as well as the actual physical level of things. You're wondering if you have enough toilet paper and cans of corn in your cupboard, and then you're also wondering, am I enough as well? So the worrying needs to kind of stop and know that you are in a place of abundance, and know that everything you need will be there when you need it, and you need to trust that energy, that you will never be without, and that you will I mean, you might not have like a year's supply of whatever, but you will always have it when you need it, especially when it comes to money. Maybe you've had some money issues or worries as far as, you know, like I know with COVID and stuff, a lot of people have been off work or on shorter hours, and can I make all my bills, and, you know, belts are getting tightened and whatnot. And it's sort of saying you need to kind of let go of that worry, because the more worry you put onto that, the more the money kind of tends to get blocked, and the opportunities then don't have that chance to come in. So keep that in mind. Check your worry, especially when it comes to money, because you don't want that kind of energy surrounding your money. I understand, because I've been in those places. I've had things cut off, not recently, but in the past, because I really, really did have to work on my my poverty mentality, my lacking mentality, my worry about, do I have enough? Am I enough? That sort of thing, because those two things often go hand in hand. So if you want to go deeper with any of these readings, please let me know. And please message me. I'm happy to do readings. Like I said, I can do them online. I do them online on Wednesdays. I'm in the parlor Monday, Thursdays, and Fridays. And I do online sometimes on Saturdays too, depending on what I have going on my social calendar. But yeah, message me one way or the other. We'll work out something no matter what's going on in your life. So, and the soul card that you got, interesting, you got the surrender. So part of worrying is living in the future and wanting to have control over it. So that is worry. Worry is a form of control and a need to control things and micromanage things. So your surrender card is coming up because it's saying you need to let go. And you need, one way you need to let go is to stop yourself from worrying. And I know it's like, but I go there. That's where I go. That's what I do. Yes, you're right. You do. But you can stop that too. And it's okay if you're in the middle of worrying when you recognize that you're worrying and to go, hey, I need to rein this back in. I need to calm myself. I need to come into the present moment. One of the ways that you can do that is the same way you deal with anxiety, is you touch something. Physically, you literally touch something. You touch a bottle and or a table or whatever's around you, and you start describing it. And when you do that, you can't help but be in the now because you're not then worrying about things. So that's one way that you can physically force yourself into the now. Touch something and start to describe it. And do it again if you need to do it again. And keep doing it until you realize how to come back from anxiety or worry when you get there. Because after a while, it becomes a bit of a muscle memory. And your brain goes, oh, we don't want to be here. Okay, we're going to check ourselves and we're going to come back into the now. And we're going to think about now things. And we're going to let go of that worry. We're going to release it. So you need to release it. There's the surrender card. That's part of surrendering, is letting go of the worry. People sometimes own their worry and their anxiety. Like when a client sits down with me and one of the first sentences out of their mouth in the first 5 minutes often is, well, I get anxiety. I have anxiety. I'm a very anxious person. I suffer from anxiety. And that's a form of identity. You're identifying yourself as being anxious. So you're owning the anxiety, which is sort of the opposite of what you want to do, because it's becoming a badge for you. It's becoming something of who you are. You know, I'm an anxious person. This is what I do. This is who I am. This is my being, is I'm anxious. I am anxious. I am is another very powerful phrase. And when you say I am anxious or I have anxiety, you are bringing that right into your soul and you're making it part of who you are. And by being anxious or being worried, I worry a lot. Oh yes, I always get stuck in my head and I worry a lot. You're owning that and you're becoming that. And if that's who you want to be, then you're stuck in the future and you're not living in the now, and you're trying to control things you cannot control. So you need to learn to surrender. Surrendering is one of the strongest things you can do. Really. It's huge. It's scary as hell. I remember that one of the first times I truly surrendered. And it's very scary. And it says I can release my need to control. See, it says it right there. I hadn't even read that yet. I can release my need to control. Because again, surrendering is letting go of that worry, letting go of that anxiety, letting go of that need to control, letting go of the need to micromanage, and letting your angels and the universe do what it does best. Love you and take care of you. Let them love you and take care of you. When you worry, when you go into panic mode, when you go into an anxiety attack, you're saying, screw you to your angels and saying, I don't need you guys because I got, you know, I'm down here doing my thing. And how's that working out for you, right? Like, let your angels in. That's what I'm saying. Let your angels in. And then your fairy message is, wish wisely. I haven't read the message yet, so I'm thinking, from what I'm picking up on this, is careful what you wish for. And the reason it's saying that is because you are a worrier, or you're anxious, or you get into those panic modes and things like that. And when you're worrying, when you're, sort of thinking of worst case scenario, you're kind of putting that wish out there. So it's sort of careful what you wish for. And as human beings, we love to be right. We absolutely love to be right. In fact, we love to be right so much, we would prefer almost to be right in the negative rather than to be wrong in the positive. If you get what I'm saying, if you understand that. So meaning that, well, the sky's going to fall, and you're worrying about it, and then the sky falls. You're like, see, I was right. The sky fell. And you would rather be right in that way than have the sky stay where it's supposed to be and be wrong. And as human beings, we're all like that. And that's part of the trusting and surrendering. We need to surrender. We need to not be right all the time. So when you worry, you're putting a wish out there, and you, not you personally, but we as humans love it when our fears get confirmed and reinforced, because it means we were right. So we need to get over that feeling of having to be right. So use your wishes wisely to manifest your heart's desire, and take practical steps towards making your dreams come true. So this all started with a house and a key. So the key is, you've learned a few keys, but one of the keys is to really listen to what your heart wants. If you need to find techniques to learn that, you can watch some of my videos. You can also book a session with me. They're called soul sessions. And this is where you can learn how to really hear what your heart's desire is. Because sometimes in the everyday muck and the everyday chaos, we lose that ability to listen to our heart's desire. So by listening to your real heart's desire, finding out what it really wants, what your soul needs, what your soul purpose is. And some of that you can find out through numerology and astrology as well. And I'm really happy to say that I finally got my brochure done. Now it's just in sort of digital form. I don't have physical brochures yet. I'm hoping to get Jaybird Digital to do some up for me, because he's an incredible digital artist. To make actual physical and bring them into the physical plane for me. But right now I can email you out basically a brochure of all my services. I finally got them all organized, because I do a little of this and I do a little of that, and it was all over the board. So they're all in there, they're all organized, and they all have descriptions and prices. So if you want one, message me. And I will happily send you one. I send it through email, just to let you know. But you can message me any way you want, and we'll get one to you. Okay, so then the next one is the heart. So people that are looking at the heart may be looking for some love to come into their lives. You're at a bit of a crossroads. So that's your second Lenormand card. So you're at a bit of a crossroads. So maybe you found that you've broken off a relationship lately. Maybe you're finding that it's hard to kind of find that love. COVID's kind of put a kibosh on the dating scene, so to speak. So it could be a bit of a difficult or challenging time. And, you're just kind of figuring things out. You might have to make a decision as far as your relationship goes of what you have going on. And you're not sure whether you want to come or whether you want to go and that sort of thing. So that's sort of where you're at, practically speaking. So let's look at the more spiritual side of things and see if it gives some direction for you on your crossroads. Because maybe you've been dating, maybe you're going out with a guy or a girl, and maybe you're in a committed relationship, but maybe COVID's brought you a little too close, and now you're like, yeah, no, I don't want to do this anymore. COVID's changed a lot of things. So you've got Hathor as your goddess, and it's receptivity. So receiving, basically. And it says, allow yourself to receive. This will increase your intuition, energy, and ability to give to others. So now's the time to really kind of listen. Getting into a relationship or getting out of a relationship and going into another relationship, always complicated. Relationships in general are complicated because there's two people of two different minds, hopefully seeing eye to eye on a lot of things, but not always seeing eye to eye on everything. So there's a lot of having to compromise and to mesh things together and figure out how it's going to work together and that sort of thing. So it's saying stay open, because maybe you've closed yourself down either to your partner, to yourself. Maybe you've closed yourself down to the ability of love coming in, if you're searching for love, that sort of thing. So think on that. Think of, like, how have I closed myself down? Perhaps there's ways I can be a little more open. You know, how have I been communicating, both with my friends face to face, with my family, online, that thing. What am I projecting out there? Because am I projecting out energy that's shutting things down, right? So your soul journey card is gratitude. So now's the time to bring some gratitude into your life, because when you're grateful, when you bring that energy of gratitude, love can't help but follow, right? And that means you bring love into your world, right? I'm grateful for the cat I have, the dog I have. I'm grateful for the bed I have, for the food that's in my cupboard. You know, whatever you think of, things that you're grateful for. I'm grateful for the job I have. I'm grateful that, you know, I'm able to do this and I'm able to do that. Whatever it might be, start thinking about the things you're grateful for and try to make it a bit of a habit. It's a great habit to start the day with. It's a great habit to end the day with. You don't have to write it down, because a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to start a gratitude journal yet, another journal. You don't have to do that. Bring that energy of gratitude, though. And you can just make a list in your head if you want to, if that's an easier thing. If you're someone that wants to write things down, absolutely. I'm not against starting a gratitude journal. Beautiful thing to start. I know when the day I started my gratitude journal saved my life. So I'm a big believer. I was a skeptic about gratitude journals up until that day. But yes, absolutely right. Gratitude brings love. And it's love coming out of you, and someone recognizes that love and sees it and wants to be a part of it and wants to share in it. And it could even be the partner you're with, or it could be someone new if you're looking for someone, if you're single. But even if you're married and have been in a committed relationship and maybe it's kind of hit the rocks a little, you know, bring that gratitude in. It changes you, and your partner will see that, and it will change them and bring love as well. So I'm thankful for this life and the opportunities that it presents. So think about the opportunities that have come into your life recently and be grateful for those things. Just wetting my whistle a little bit here. Now, oh, you've got a beautiful fairy card. So you've got moon energy. So if you're looking for love, right now is a good time for you. Moon energy. Moon is all about love and love spells and all that kind of stuff. And the full moon is about gratitude. So it's a time of gratitude, definitely. The full moon is probably at her strongest when she's full. And that is a time to show that gratitude. Now surrender to the natural ebb and flow of life. Let it happen. If you're feeling confused, this fairy comes to calm emotions and reassure you that peace of mind is possible. Because sometimes when we get into those lonely modes and feeling lonely and wanting someone to share things with, even if you're in a relationship, you can feel very lonely. So know that there's a natural ebb and flow to life. Try to reconnect or try to make that connection, but know that, you know, it will happen when it's supposed to happen. and try to remain calm. Try to bring yourself to that calm, meditative state, and bring that peace of mind for yourself. No one wants to be around a dithering worrywart. You know, if you're all like, oh, I don't know. No one wants to be in that energy. So bring yourself into peace. Bring yourself into mindfulness. Bring yourself into just going with the flow and being calm. Try to maintain that calmness in your heart, in your mind, and in the way you do things. Try not to get into that dithering kind of, you know, I gotta get things done, and jittery and hyper, you know. Try to just, I'm just gonna be calm. I'm taking this as it comes. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna go do this now. And, you know, and then I'm gonna rest, and then I'm gonna go and do that. And do things with purpose and purposefully. When you do that, people can't help but be attracted to that energy. So again, whether you're in a committed relationship, your partner will respond to that, or if you're looking for love, people will start to respond to that, especially if it's genuine. So really genuinely try to get to that peace of mind. Stop being hyper, or being hyper over the fact that, you know, I'm lonely, I want someone to come in, and you know, I've been there, I've been to those places, and it's hard to attract someone in when you're in that dithering spot, as I call it. So keep that in mind when you're trying to bring love in, if that's what you're trying to do, which I think you're doing because you picked the heart. Now those of you that picked the tree, some of you picked the tree. I remember one lady saying, I don't know why I'm picking the tree, I just always pick the tree. So often if you've picked the tree, it means you're looking for growth. You're looking to put down roots, that sort of thing. You know, trees are about growth, putting down roots, being stable, and not stable so much as in home stability, just stable overall. You've had a bit of a soulful journey through all of this chaos that we've recently been through. So perhaps that's why. Perhaps you're looking for a little shade. Just a little shade from life, a little rest, because trees have auras about them, and that's why people and humans tend to respond to trees, because we pick up on that energy, and it's a very healing energy. And perhaps you're looking for a little bit of healing, a little bit of peace, that sort of thing as well. That might be why you picked the tree. And you got the lilies to go with it. Wow, totally on a spiritual quest here. So you got the lilies to go with it, and lilies are right among with the lotus, with the lotus flowers. So it's probably about meditation, and about blooming within the chaos and knowing how to do that. Yeah, it's about contentment, harmony, and purity. So you're looking for that peace, that contentment, that harmony. That's what this is all about. There's a lotus flower right there. So a very common mantra in transcendental meditation is to bloom among the muddy waters. And they often talk about the lotus that blooms among the muddy waters. The lotus is a very huge symbol in transcendental meditation. And what that means is being able to meditate no matter what's going on around you. So that's meditating and not needing absolute peace, and not needing to all the time. Knowing that there's meditations that you can do even while you're doing the work and the service that's required of you in life. And to be of service is a great honor when you're deep into meditation. It's being able to, for instance, when I was practicing transcendental meditation, I still do, but when I was doing sort of some initiations and stuff, to meditate on a bus, on a public bus. So to be able to do it without people realizing, don't make a big song and dance, I'm meditating, calling down the peace and harmony and stuff. So meditating with your eyes open, not necessarily having to close your eyes, not having to chant, and being able to meditate even with all the chaos of people coming and going from the bus, you know, people talking on their phones, people talking to their people, maybe there's an argument happening, you know, life is going on around you, and yet you're able to create this little bubble of peace and tranquility around you. And perhaps that's what you're after, is being able to create some peace and tranquility around you. So that's the challenge, to be able to meditate even in the chaos. One meditation, I've done many retreats on meditation, and one meditation that I took part in was in the absolute dark, and it was at nighttime, and it was absolutely dark, but we had to meditate with our eyes open in the dark. It was very discombobulating at first, but you really had to learn how to center yourself and to meditate in that space of what felt like nothingness. It was a very weird experience, but I'm so glad I've had that experience. And I've had other different kinds of experiences of meditating in different kinds of environments. And it's really a sign of being able to control yourself and letting go of control of everything else. So that's one way of letting go of that worry, that anxiety. It really helped. I used to have anxiety. I used to have full-on panic attacks. And because I've done so much work with transcendental meditation, I've learned how to master that so that I don't get into those panic modes. And the anxiety is not a thing in my life really anymore. I know of situations where I've been where normally it would trigger, but I've risen to the challenge, and I'm like, no, I can control me, and I'm controlling myself, and I'm controlling my reaction and my emotions towards it, and that sort of thing. And that's when you know you've mastered it, when a challenge comes up and you're able to overcome it. So I welcome challenges. I say that now, I might say it with regret, but I welcome challenges for that very reason, because challenges show the growth that has happened. It's amazing. I love that. So your goddess is, of course, one I cannot pronounce. So Ognog, I believe, is a Celtic goddess. So they always throw in letters that don't belong there. Ognog is what I'm going to call her. And it says, easy does it. Easy does it. Love that about this goddess. And she's got a dove, and her hair is just flowing down, just letting it flow, and she's got a bit of a rainbow happening over here. And like I said, there's that dove, and almost like a bit of a moon on part of the dove. Easy does it. So take it easy on yourself. Don't, like when we want to grow, suddenly we want to, go from 2 feet to 6 feet. It's like, it doesn't happen like that. It happens in inches a lot of the time. And sometimes we don't always see the growth, but someone else does, right? Because they haven't seen you in a while. It's kind of like when you lose weight and you feel like, oh, I've only lost 25 pounds or whatever. And someone sees you and goes, wow, you look like you lost some weight. Yes. So the message is, there is no need to hurry or force things to happen. Everything is occurring in perfect timing. That's part of trust and surrender too. Knowing that everything is happening just as it should for your soul. And that's a hard one for a lot of us to accept, because we want things to happen faster, or we want things to slow down. But it's happening exactly the way it's supposed to. So easy does it. Just get on the ride and go for the ride. Have fun and let it happen. Let it happen. Now your soul message is forgiveness. So I suspect a lot of this forgiveness is forgiveness of yourself, because perhaps you raise a really high bar for yourself and you really criticize yourself when you don't hit that bar. So maybe, be okay either with not hitting that bar or lowering the bar a little bit, and knowing you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be perfect to do what you need to do. Now I know a lot of people would say this is bad advice, but I did tell a client, she was thinking about getting on Etsy and she wanted to sell stuff. But she felt like, I'm not ready. I got to get this ready and I got to get that ready and la 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 la. And I'm like, start with one thing. Put one thing on Etsy. Now, yes, on Etsy, definitely you want more than one thing. But sometimes we hold back on stuff simply because I only have 10 things. That's not nearly enough. I need to wait until I have 100 things, and I'm going to get there eventually. But meanwhile, these 10 things, and eventually it'll be 20 and 30 and 40 and 50, are just sitting there collecting dust. And you're still not on Etsy because for some reason you set the bar at 100. That's when you go on Etsy, right? And by that point, your stuff's getting older. It's not getting any younger. It may not be trending or popular anymore. Start with one thing. It doesn't have to be perfect. It might not sell, but it's that first initial step. You've done it. That's how I started on Etsy, actually. I started with one thing. I had a crocheted blanket, and I was working on a bunch of other projects, and I was like, okay, I'm going to start this Etsy shop. I put the blanket up. It's sold within 24 hours. So I know I'm living testament to the fact that you can start with one thing on Etsy. I now have, I don't know, almost over 50 things on my Etsy store now, and I've made almost 30 sales. Actually, I made way more than 30 sales, because the local people, I always say, you know, just let me know what you want, and then you save the shipping and stuff, right? But yeah, so I've probably made closer to 40 sales on my Etsy store, just through Etsy kind of thing. So again, it started with one thing. It started with a blanket. So start with one thing. Forgiveness. Forgive yourself. Be okay with not hitting the bar, or lower your bar. Maybe your bar is like way too high. So the message is, I acknowledge that harboring resentment blocks the flow of love. So maybe you have some resentment either towards yourself or towards someone else. Maybe there's something you haven't let go of. And forgiveness, I always say, is a selfish act, because you're not forgiving the person, because a lot of people confuse forgiveness and condoning. Okay, so when you forgive someone else, because maybe there's someone you need to forgive in your life, when you forgive someone, they've obviously done something wrong towards you. But when you forgive them, you're not condoning the behavior. You're not saying now, well, it's right what you did, or it's okay what you did. You're not saying that. Because a lot of people, you know, we've heard forgiveness of, oh, okay, you know, someone says, I'm sorry, you go, it's okay. It's not okay. You're not condoning the behavior. What you're doing is you're letting go of the energy of that hurt, of that betrayal. And I don't know if you can hear my dog, Larry. He's whining. Larry, it's okay, honey. But you're letting go of that hurt and that betrayal for you, so that it's not eating you up on the inside. So when you forgive, like I said, I kind of jokingly say it's a selfish act, because what it's doing is it's unblocking things for you, so that love, creativity, joy, abundance can come in. They cannot come in as long as you hold on to that resentment, as long as you hold on to that hurt. And by letting it go, you're not saying it's okay. You're not saying it's right. You're saying, I'm forgiving because I don't want this energy eating me up anymore. I need to let go of that energy so I can make space for the love, for the joy, for the happiness. Okay? If you need help with that, if you need help with letting go of any of that kind of forgiveness and stuff, please book a soul session with me. I've gone through it myself, so I understand, and we can have a deep conversation on how to get yourself to that place, because it's not just a one and done kind of thing, and it can be very difficult to do. And trust me when I say I'm understanding. And you can hear my story if you want during the session, but mostly I'm there to hear your story and to help you through it, and to help you overcome it. But you're never gonna condone it. No, it's wrong. It was wrong. It's always gonna be wrong, whatever that person did. So your fairy message is tree wisdom. And I like this. Tree wisdom, like I was saying, where was I talking about trees? trees. You pick the tree. You pick the tree because you need some of that tree energy. So tree energy is green, right? That's Archangel Raphael, who is the master healer of God. So bring in, and the fairies actually work, a lot of fairies work very closely with Archangel Raphael, especially the tree fairies. So definitely be around trees, bring more green into your life, eat more greens, wear more greens, have green around you, sit at the base of a tree and just drink in its energy. Just let it give you the love and energy that it needs. Another thing too, if you don't have time to sit by a tree and you're walking along and you see some bushes, because bushes are kind of trees, right? They're green as well. Now, and if you're walking, because I have a walkway near my place and it's all lined with trees. And sometimes I don't have time to, and there's a fence there and, you know, there's kind of a ditch, so I'm not going to be sitting. So I walk along. So one thing you can do that I learned through my fairy lore is you can ask the trees for some love. And those that want to give love, if they can shake their leaves. And those that shake their leaves, you gently grab their leaf. Don't tear the leaf off. Grab their leaf. And what you're doing is you're shaking hands with the tree. And you're exchanging energy. But you ask first. You always say, who here would like to give me a handshake? Who would like to share some love with me? And then you go along. And whatever trees are flapping there. I mean, when they flap their leaves, a lot of leaves will flap. So just pick one tree, shake one of his leaves. You don't have to shake all of his leaves. And then the next tree, whoever's flapping, shake their, and you say thank you. And you can do it all very quietly and no one knows what you're doing. You're just kind of grabbing leaves off trees. You're not picking them off, you're shaking hands, but it looks like you're just kind of brushing against the tree. So, and that's another way of getting into their aura, getting their energy, doing that energy exchange with them. Shake hands with the trees. But you got to ask who wants to shake hands first. And they'll let you know. They'll do this. And I've done it where some trees are waving and some are not. And that's okay. Not all trees are ready to give that day. But just like humans, we're not all ready to give love all the time. So this tree dryad will help you navigate through your current situation. Her flute can reveal insights and answers through the sound it makes. So that's telling me too that it's time to bring some music into your life. Literally, bring some music into your life. Listen to some music this week. It's going to be very soothing. I mean, they've done a lot of studies on sound bathing and sound medicine. If you want a sound bath, that is one of the services in my new brochure, because I do sound baths. If you would like a sound bath session, look me up, message me, get my brochure, and book a sound bath. I can do them online as well. So yeah, we can totally bring that into your life. But also too, in the meantime, listen to some music. They've shown that, you know, like Alzheimer's patients respond to music. People who have physical disabilities, especially as we get older, suddenly the aches and pains go away when you put music on. For me, I have fibromyalgia, so often I'm dealing with a lot of pain in my life. I also have really bad arthritis from back when I was an esthetician and a masseuse. So I often find when I play some music, it allows my body to move a little better and easier and smoother because you get into the groove and to the beat of the music. So it's much easier on your body that way. And suddenly aches and pains that were there are not there quite as badly. And you're moving those joints to get movement in, so it flushes out toxins and excess fluid and eases the stiffness and all that kind of stuff. So you might need a little of that this week. Maybe you've got some stiffness happening and you need to kind of loosen up the joints, so to speak. So that's my piles and my readings for this week. Hopefully I'll do another one next week. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see more of the pick a pile, and I'll set that up. And I'm so glad you joined me tonight. And good luck with this week. If you want to book anything, please let me know. If you'd like my brochure and just take a look over what services I have to offer, please message me and I will happily send one along to you. This has been Lady Rose with you. I'm so glad you've been here. Thank you. Merry, wise, and gentle be.